Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Menino, and welcome to Driven, Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, on how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful island of Michigan, where I used to live, is Janos Szathmari. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it right.
How you doing, young man?
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. So tell me a little bit about the weather in Michigan right now. So we're on October 29th. So we're getting into November. So tell me a little bit about the weather in Michigan right now.
It's gorgeous right now.
Awesome.
It's getting ready for fall. It's getting colder. Definitely preparing for winter over here. But could not ask for a more beautiful turning of the leaves. And everyone in Michigan loves that feeling of fall. You've said that you've lived there,
and
I know you know the feeling.
I do.
So
I do.
couldn't ask for a more beautiful fall this year. So
Nice. Awesome. Do me a favor, tell everybody what you do for a living. And we were just talking about a little bit off camera and what you do and how long you've been doing it.
I work for a Christian building company full time. My best friend, Eric, runs it. Amazing guy. Really, over the past few years, got to know him really well, and a great brother in Christ, and just a good guy to work with, alongside with. And I also operate a Christian farm that I started 4 or 5 years ago. And my wife and we've been trying to grow it to help provide higher quality food for the kingdom.
Nice. And we were talking about the quality of your beef. So what are the name of the cows? The Scottish? I'm gonna mess this one up. I'm gonna let you do it.
Scottish Highland cattle.
Scottish Highland cattle, and they're
Yes.
one of the top breeds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're the big fluffy cows that are very popular on Instagram. All the girls
Really?
like them.
All the
Yeah.
girls like them.
Yeah, they sell a lot of artwork. In fact, I don't know if I can go grab it, but I have a beautiful picture of one of them right behind me. So
Awesome. So in the construction industry, what do you do mainly in the construction industry?
a lot of renovations,
Gotcha.
full house remods, bathrooms. We've built a few homes, or I have. Hopefully in the future we can build some houses at R3 Carpentry, and but mainly it's bathroom remods, kitchens, cabinetry, everything. We do it all. So
I did the same thing at your age. So I enjoyed the work. I enjoyed it a lot. The great, what do you like best about doing that kind of work?
it's extremely satisfying when you're done with it. Each step of the way requires a different mindset. Right when you're finishing a project is a different than when you start a project. When you start a new project, it requires just a different mindset, organization, the tools that you'd use, and a different mentality. And then midway through, it's not a 1 day thing where the next day you can just start something out, when you're doing long-term renovations. So there's a different process to start than the more developing phase after the rough stuff's done, and then the finishing phase. So it definitely requires different types of skills each step of the way. So it's cool to transition.
What do you like best about it, and what do you like least about it?
The part I like least about it is when the customer has something in mind and we give them exactly that, and they envisioned it a little differently. What's beautiful about today versus when I first started in construction is the sources online. Like, you could almost really paint a good picture of what it's going to be, what it's going to look like. And after doing so many, you can really describe it to them. them being the customer, and right when it's all done, it's looking beautiful, and they come and look at it, and it's not it, that's really hard because a lot of the effort, it's very satisfying. Now, the flip side of that's what do I like the most about it is when you make one of their dreams come true and you just hit another one out of the park, and their reaction makes it worth it. You're making a home for them, not just to you, it might be just another job, but you're making someone's home. So that's a beautiful part about it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'll never forget one of the words, 5-hour energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I worked on his house. His name's Manoj and his wife is Sadhna. Sadhna told us what to do. And then we got done. I'm sitting at her kitchen table and I said, so what do you think? And she looked around and she goes, perfect. Just perfect. Isn't
That's
that kind
good.
of the words we look for in what we do? So when your customer's completely happy, it's a great day.
Yeah, it is. It's and dealing with a lot of the different products out now in construction, I love it. I follow a lot of the top like innovator dudes on social media and just seeing what they're coming out with. Some stuff, you can give a thumbs down to, but it's like, man, that doesn't work. Maybe on paper, but seeing a lot of the stuff that works well. Uh, there's a lot of good innovators out there in the market today.
Agreed. There's a lot of bad ones too. I remember back in the day, I was trying to be sold styrofoam basements.
Really?
That look on your face says it all. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. There was this one place and that was out of my lumber yard. They were borrowing a section of the lumber yard. It was styrofoam cinder blocks, and then they line them up and then they pour in them.
They pour it, so ICF foundations.
Yeah.
Now, what didn't you like about those?
Those were segmented. The ICFs that are out now are just 2 inches of styrofoam on inside and outside, right?
Yep.
Right. This was like, if you can imagine, a cinder block of
Oh,
styrofoam. So you
I
could
understand.
literally, if you were to spray an acetone on the styrofoam, you'd just see pillars not connected. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Now I do like the new ICF basements because it's connected in between. It's all one solid wall with
Right.
two pieces of styrofoam on the side. But like you said, some of the stuff wasn't that great, and that disappeared relatively quickly within 5 years. And then this other stuff came out, and I was like, ugh. And now I like it better because it's south.
I almost built my house with one of them.
That would have been fine.
It would have been a fun project for my wife and I to do. And
It
uh,
is. Agreed. Agreed 100%. But I wouldn't have put the
no.
styrofoam cinder blocks. Those disappeared. And one of my neighbors, I've always watched the house as years go by. He built his basement out of it. It stood up. It was good, but just scary. So, what do you think is one of the best innovations you've seen in the last few years with construction?
Schluter, hands down, Schluter shower pans, the Schluter system, the waterproof membrane that they came out with, Curdy. They really thought it through. The Germans over there, they really thought it through, down to the lines that are on the fabric. If you install and then set the sheet on the wall perfectly, like you could use those lines as reference. That's how much they've thought into it. Um, at first, it's kind of skeptical because you're putting this fabric on and you can put it right over drywall. And for me, doing this since I was 14, mainly tile, that seems kind of that same type of feeling that you probably got with those other foam blocks. Like, I don't know if this one's gonna
I don't know if this one's going
last
to take
long.
off.
Yeah, but after having to tear one apart not because of the manufacturer problem, but because of the installer problem. They they're solid. They're really solid, and I love them. They save a lot of time, a lot less weight to carry up the stairs if the
Yeah,
bathroom's up there. So you can waterproof a whole bathroom a couple hours.
right. Agreed.
So that's
Agreed.
one of my favorites.
And the other ones, because that is a good system. For the people that don't know, a Sluter system is a I would say a membrane and some solid materials like a preformed shower pan that you
Yep.
can glue and screw down and then put tile on top. Very little effort. And what
No
we do,
screws.
yeah, no, yeah, that's true. No screws, no screws. I'm talking about nailing up the walls and stuff, and then you put the membrane on
Oh,
top of it.
yep. Yep.
Um, you just glue it down, and my cousin runs to this day the tile shop in Bloomfield Hills. And shout out to
Really?
Jerry Menino. Yeah, shout out to Jerry Menino. He still runs that place, and
You
it's a
know, Jerry Menino knows me pretty good.
does he?
He knows me pretty good. I actually worked for his brother Rodney for a week when I was a punk teenager.
Well, my other cousin Rodney then. So you worked for them. That's
Oh,
fantastic,
that's
dude.
such a small world, man.
It is. It is. Rod was the best. It still is the best. He's an amazing individual, and he does a great job with tile. But his brother Jerry runs the tile shop, and when this stuff was coming out, I was kind of, I don't know about this one too. And he
Hmm.
he was like, "No, you gotta check it out." And then they had some educational courses on it, and they had some people talking about it. And they were right, man. If I'm not mistaken, it's better, faster, and easier, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it saves a lot of time. The tile shop uses now, they don't, they use a different brand called Veedy, or
Mm-hmm.
as English would read it, Weedy. But
We
yeah, but they're a pretty solid system too. But you
Yeah.
brought up the tile shop and Jerry. I have to say, in my early 20s, I had a logistics company. This is how I got to know Jerry.
Oh,
Is
cool.
the tile shop was my largest client, and I went around in West Bloomfield. They picked me up as one of their delivery guys, and I got to know Jerry very well. Um, at that period of time, he was a really good dude. He was one of my favorite guys to work with, especially in that company. So,
And he was helping me pick out some backsplash one time. And the funny part was, I go, man, I'm having a hard time with this backsplash. He goes, don't feel bad. I don't have a backsplash. I've been trying to pick it out for 14 years. And I still to this day don't know if he's got a backsplash.
what's funny about this too is I don't have a backsplash, and I'm a tile guy. I just redid my house 2 years ago. I still got some little stuff to do.
Hmm.
My wife was pregnant with my daughter,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
right when I found out, we just moved in this house about a year before this. And right before we moved in, or right when we moved in, found out she was pregnant, and I decided to gut the house to the studs. I'm like, well, I got 9 months. What better source of
Motivation
motivation
do you
is
need?
the day we left to go to the hospital. Um, I nailed the trim with the nail gun and the base
Nice.
molding on the
Nice.
day we left, and I I told my wife, so she had to get induced early because she was so stressed out. Normal women go through like a nesting phase, they call it.
Yep.
She did not get to do that, and she had high blood pressure, so she
Oh,
got induced early because of it, and she blames it on me gutting the house to the studs.
well, I mean, the stress, so let me give you a little tip as a builder. I was a builder, now we're in multifamily, but I was explaining to somebody recently, they wanted me to build something, and I told the realtor, I go, odds are they're going to have a kid relatively soon. They're planning on it. And they said, why? I go, because they're planning on expanding. That's 99% of the time when you remodel or build new or do something, that's what you're looking for. And then 2 weeks later, she goes, yeah, they're pregnant. I go, ah, here's my surprise face. But cutting it close like that had to have been tough. I mean, you're nailing up the trim the day you take your wife over to the hospital. That's
I told her, she's got to write a book, and the title of the book has got to be From Seduced to Induced.
that is a great book. That
And
is a great book. Seduced to Induced. That's a book. That's a real
so,
good one.
yeah, it'd be a good title to sell.
So Janos, what is one of the hardest things you have to overcome in your career?
Um, One of the hardest things I would say was pride. That was a big one. Pride would probably be the biggest one. Um, when I was younger, I started out as an entrepreneur pretty young, and testing the waters, you can kind of see, especially people your own age, but especially when you're exposed to the market I was exposed to,
Hmm.
you kind of read the crowd. And I was like, I figure I'm smarter than most of these people. Um, Maybe it was true. I was able to comprehend things pretty quickly. And that kind of dug me into quite a big of a hole. It was a burn bright, die young phase that I finally learned, now looking back at it. But that this sense of pride made it very difficult to work with other people. And that's why what I went through led to an end or came to an end because of not being able to. I gave you're limited, and I was able to get to a certain place, but in order to expand and grow from that point, you need to be able to work well with other people. And pride really uh, leads that to death, to destruction.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you gotta learn to trust other people, and that's hard when you enjoy what you do and you do a good job. It's hard to convey that to other people that don't. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, yeah.
And what I had to do was invite people on my ship and off my ship. Sometimes you invite them on and sometimes you invite them off. If they don't work out or they don't have the same quality expectations you do, that's tough. That's very tough.
When you got to invite somebody off, I know it's situational based. Some
Mhm.
people, they go kicking and screaming, and some people, it's like a mutual understanding. And sometimes the bigger person just got to say it.
Mhm.
Um, but if you got to invite somebody off, is there like a procedure that you go through, like a
Yes.
checklist? You know?
Well, it's here's something that you'll understand when you do it a couple times. When you invite people off the ship, sometimes they want to be off the ship.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, they're not enjoying their job. They're not, And what I would do was, say, hey, listen, sit down with them. Hey, how do you like it here? And usually they'd be like, yeah, it's struggle, this and that. I'm like, you know what? I think that works out for both of us. It might be time for you to go look for something else. I'll give you a couple weeks, and then you can, start looking. If you need a couple days off to go try other jobs out, go right ahead. And that worked out really well. But if the guy says, yeah, I really like my job, you're like, ugh, today's gonna
Now
be
what?
today's gonna be a tough day. So you need to start looking for something else to do. And it's how do I explain this? Oh, the best way I can explain is it's just business. It's just business. I like you as a person, this and that, but this isn't working out for me. It's got to work out for both of us.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. One
You'd
of
be,
the, go on.
no, you'd be surprised how many people agree with you. Like you're like, if you invite somebody off, they're like, yeah, I kind of needed the push. I'm like, oh, cool. It's less, how do I put, not detrimental, it's less painful than you think for both of you.
Yeah, that seems if you're feeling it, chances are they're probably feeling somewhat similar, if they're any good at discernment.
Well,
I have that leads me to a thought, because when you said it's just business, it's a phrase that we kind of hear a lot.
mhm.
So after explaining I had a farm about 4 or 5 years ago, that had started right after I gave my life to Christ, from the early part of my early 20s. Was
Mhm.
very successful, ran numerous businesses, but it came running to a head, and led to a huge wave of anxiety and depression. Uh, then it just led me turning to God. I gave my life to Christ, and then a new chapter. I did 180 degrees another way, and here I am. But one of the biggest challenges that I faced was I knew how to do business before, and for a lack of a better term, as a heathen, but how do I do it now with being a man of faith and a Christian now following Jesus? So, kind of talking with you beforehand, I know that you're a Christian as well, and you've been through this a little bit longer than me.
A lot.
What what is
I've been at it longer than you've been alive, my friend.
what what's some advice that you would
Ooh.
share with something like that?
Ooh. You want the key, you want the trick, you want the gold bomb?
Well, you've tried and true it through many different scenarios. I'm kind of do.
All right, let me give it to you. So here's the secret of my life. Give it to God. So let me give you a few scenarios. I was like you, young buck, started my own business, and all I knew is there was not enough work, too many guys, not enough work, and all the problems. I mean, we could go through the list of them. Don't have enough money, can't make payroll, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. Everybody's yelling at me. They don't like the work, blah, 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 all of it. And the stress level that you're talking about is probably the highest in entrepreneurs, right?
Mhm.
It's just a level of stress that you can't imagine for most people that have jobs. And so my pastor said a long time ago, he said, give it to God. Give God all your problems. And one day, all the problems came to head, and I'm like, you know what? The company's yours. American Craftsman Homes is yours. It's not mine no more. You just tell me what to do. And then once I gave it up, it's just everything started falling into place. The work started coming in. The people, like this one kid came up to me. His dad knew me and said, "Hey, listen, my son wants to work with you." And I talked to him for a little bit. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have the work for you right now, but I'll let you know." 2 weeks later, I get a new account and I get a bunch of work. I'm like, come on in. And so the work came in, the people came in, and it just worked out perfectly. But when you try and do it on your own, it's painful and stressful, like you're doing right now. But you literally give it up. Give it up to God, and you'll be surprised where He takes you. I did that, and now do it with everything. Do it with your kids, do it with your wife, do it with your businesses. And I took my martial arts. I don't know if you saw any of my martial arts stuff, but
I have not.
huh?
I have not. I've been actually meaning to
Check it
look into
out.
it. I do. You said break stuff, and I was like, what does he mean by that?
So I'm a professional brick breaker. There's a long story in that, and I don't know if I've told it on this podcast, so you might be the individual that gets the gold. So I learned to give it up to God. My pastor's been saying it for years. I went to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Sports Festival in Columbus, Ohio. And long story to get there, and I got there, and I went over there, and I said, "Hey, listen, well, I entered 2 events, hand and foot." And then I go, "Where's the bricks?" He goes, "Over there." He goes, "How many?" I said, "What's going to win?" He goes, 10 foot, 5 hand, like 15. Paid him for it, went over there, came back. I said, "Hey, those are 2-inch bricks. I've never broken a 2-inch brick before." He looked at me and goes, "This is the pro level. All we have." Well, you laugh. I was terrified. The enemy was yapping in my ear. Yap.
Yeah.
He was like, "You're not good enough. This is going to hurt. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to look like an idiot." And I was on his page. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I listened to him and he goes, fake an injury. Just don't show up for the event. And I agreed with him. You got it. Then I saw some guys breaking. This guy said, you hold the board for me? I'm like, yeah, sure. And this guy's in my bracket. He gets up, he starts his performance, he breaks a baseball bat with his foot. He gets 5 bricks, punches him with his hand, 10 bricks with his elbow, gets a coconut, bam, baseball bat with his hand, boom. And I'm like, yep, I'm right. The enemy's right. I'm not this good. I am not this good. I guarantee it. And so I just started learning from these people. And there's this one guy, Showman. He was a big, huge, buff guy. And he showed me all this kind of cool, let me see your technique. You got to do this, you got to do this. He started fixing me all together. And then it came up to my event, and right before my event, there's a guy who kind of looked like you. And he starts getting ready to break, and then he turns around, kisses his pendant, does a quick prayer, and breaks. And I told the guy, I was standing next to the guy that's running the place. I go, he can't do that. He looked at me, looked at the kid, looked at me, looked at the kid, and he goes, why not? I said, he's taking the architect of the universe at a mortal competition. That's not fair. He looked at the kid, looked back at me, and he goes, nothing in the rule says you can't do it. And I said, well, I can do it. He goes, yeah. I go, no, it's not fair for you. Because I know God and I know God well. And the pastor's been telling me for years, take him with you, take him with you. Never thought of taking him on a hobby for martial arts, right?
Wow.
Well, I did. And so here's when he talks to you, you got to listen too. On the foot stomp, I'm setting up the bricks. You got 30 seconds to do it. I'm sorry, you got 3 minutes or 6 minutes to do it. And I set them up and I said, time, Menino. And they go, time. And I set up 8 2-inch blocks. 8 2-inch blocks, 16 inches of cement. Never broke a 2-inch brick before that day. Terrified, but I'm taking God with me. I'm not afraid anymore. I back up. I said, time. He says, I hear a little voice in the back of my head. God whispered to me, put the 9th one down. Do you know why he whispers? Do you know why when God talks to you, he whispers?
Why is he whispering?
Because he's never far away.
Oh, man. That's good.
And so I put my head down. I've argued with God many times. I've lost every time. Every time I didn't listen to him, I missed. I missed the mark. I sinned. Sin is an archery term, meaning you missed the mark. You didn't hit the bullseye. And I know what I had to do, and I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I go, really? Eight's not enough. 8's not enough. Put the 9th one down. All right. Hey, listen, I messed up. I miscounted because I'm an idiot. Can I put another one on? She goes, you got another 30 seconds. Put another pencil on, put it on. Time, Menino. She goes, yeah, you're all set. So I put the 9th one on. I go, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I go, you want me to take you with me? I go, let's go. Jumped up in the air, boom, broke 9 of 9. Nobody was more surprised than me. Nobody on the planet. I looked at that broken bricks and I went, and this dude said, hey, man, you did a good job. I go, why? He goes, you jumped up in the air and did it. I'm like, yeah, how else are you supposed to do it? He goes, everybody else was standing on cinder blocks right next to their pile and just stand up. They don't jump up in the air because it takes too much timing and execution. He goes, why'd you do it like that? I said, because I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. Long story short, I got a first and second at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Sports Festival. And then I said to the guy, I said, hey, when's your next event? And he goes, the US Open. I go, how do you qualify? He looks at my broken bricks. He goes, you just did. And since then, I got 12 first place trophies, 2 ISK. God gave me 12 first place trophies, 2 ISK belts, and 1 world record. All because I put the 9th one down. But that 9th one, he was trying to teach me something that I really didn't understand until after the event. That guy, Showman, that big guy, he was in the heavyweight division. To show me, all the technique. You have to do this, straighten your arm, do this, jump up. He's giving me all this college education in a seminar in one day.
Yeah.
He won the heavyweight division, and he got 9 of 10. So this is kind of crazy cool. Whatever you don't break counts against you. So if I was in the heavyweight division that day, I would have won first place in the heavyweight division. And then after I saw a showman break, I heard a little voice in my head, doesn't matter what's stacked up against you, doesn't matter who's stacked up against you, just take me with you.
Man,
Now when
praise
amen.
God.
Yeah, yeah. So I pray to you that you do exactly what I did and listen. And he's not going to yell at you, he's going to whisper. And you'll be surprised where he takes you.
That's a good story, man. That's
It's God in action.
absolutely. That's it got me excited because I've been really trying to get into youth ministry.
Take him
It's
with you.
it's been really important to me. I feel like he's really put it on my heart because I think a lot of the youth is a huge target for the enemy. I think there's nowadays I can say that there's trillions of dollars being spent to how to get their attention and deceive them. How can we deceive them better? And I really feel calling in this spot and area. And it really motivates me to share not only just a testimony, but so many things that like I've gone through to kind of what God has done in my life. Because right when I gave my life to Christ, what I heard was like, I've been with you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't thinking about me, but I was always thinking about you. So, excuse me.
When you look back, you can see what he was doing.
And now I was almost, when I meet certain people, I start to see that the people that he's brought in my life to either one, listen to, or two, share something with them, or three, learn something from them. And listen to and learn something kind of could go hand in hand, but it's almost like he's built a resume or a credibility list behind me throughout my life. Like, hey, I had to build you up and train you in this specific area so you could go into this specific battle. And I just really started viewing it as like a warrior mindset. We are at war, it says so in Ephesians, and where's the battlefield?
Mm-hmm.
It was really sad to see somebody like Charlie Kirk. But to me, that was, he was a martyr, and it was, he had to go telling the truth, and it was extremely motivating. You know, more people are going to rise up and start speaking the truth now because death, where is your sting?
There's a movement called I Am Charlie Kirk.
Is there?
Yeah,
Man,
we are Charlie Kirk. So yeah, as unfortunate as it is, God's got a plan.
yes, he does.
Enjoy the ride. And I can hook you up with somebody that's in youth ministry. Where do you live?
I live in Attica, but in youth ministry, I'm in Romeo currently.
Okay. So I have a friend of mine that does youth ministry. We'll hook you up after this interview.
Okay.
So wrapping up, thank you for being on the podcast. Great conversation. Wrapping up the interview, what do you got exciting coming up for the next 6 to 12 months?
For the next 12 months, in the farm, we have been doing some like major renovations. Having a kid definitely throws a curveball in there. You know, you can't plan certain things like I used to. This is our first one, so I'm learning those lessons.
Yes, you are.
But really becoming more dedicated and more routine based now that, my kid's about to be 2.
Mm-hmm.
How to be a better dad, how to be a better employee where I'm working, and how to be a better shepherd at home and a better husband. So those things for the next 12 months are something that I've been really aiming towards doing, and how to be a better servant of the Most High God. More routine, more discipline. Like really discipline has been something that I've really been, that's in my crosshairs for the next 12 months.
Awesome. Well, you have the right book, you have the right guidance, and you have the right mentor. He'll show you amazing things. I can guarantee you that. You're focused in the right direction, my friend. Hey, if anybody wants to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
They can email me. I could share that with you.
Please.
And that so far, a videographer is working on making us a website for the farm currently. But I wanted it to be a good website. So, and they can reach out to actually my farm phone number, which I can also share with you as well.
Go for it. You can speak it right now. We'll have the editors put it in there.
Okay. The phone number is 810-627-0759. And the email is Janos Szathmari @protonmail.com.
Awesome. Janos, thanks for a great interview. Really do appreciate it. It's been a great conversation. For everybody else, we're going to have to say goodbye to you, unfortunately. And if you want to hit Janos up, please do. And like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification buttons. Thanks a lot, Janos. It was an amazing conversation. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.